Hey everyone, Recovered on Purpose has made a big shift in the way we operate, and I want to tell you all why we made the shift, what this looks like, and how you can be involved, whether you are still in active addiction, you're in recovery, or you are a supporter of the mission here. First, I want to share with you where this movement started and why. In September 2019, I had just under 2 years clean and sober when I went to a conference in Vacaville, California called 100X Expansion. It was a conference that was to show entrepreneurs how to bring God into business, and I had a successful marketing company at the time, and I wanted to make more impact with it. The first night of the conference, I was in the front row while Jesus Culture was playing worship music on the stage. I had my hands in the air and my eyes closed when I heard a clear whisper in my heart say, "Your new company is called Recovered on Purpose." I immediately opened my eyes and looked up thinking, that's good. I went into my phone and bought the domain name right there, checked the Colorado Secretary of State to make sure it was available, and it was. I didn't know yet what the exact purpose of Recovered on Purpose was, but I know the guiding voice when I hear it. On the last day of that conference, September 28th, a speaker came on stage and began talking about self-publishing a book. I was rigorously taking notes because I had always wanted to publish a book, but my note-taking was interrupted by the same voice that said, if you publish your story on your 2-year clean and sober date, you're going to inspire so many others to do the same. I thought, my 2 years clean and sober, that's in 5 weeks. But again, I know that voice when I hear it. So I went home, let my partners and everyone know that I was going to be busy for the next coming weeks, put my phone away and began the process. I knew I wasn't going to be able to just sit and write a book in that time because I could go on and on with a bunch of stories, but I knew I needed to figure out what to put in it. So the first 2 days, I got on my whiteboards and dumped everything out of my head from my life, created the message I wanted to put in my story to deliver, and picked the experiences from my life that would best put my message into that book. Then I sat down with that checklist and wrote and published From Chains to Saved, One Man's Journey Through the Spiritual Realm of Addiction, and it has now sold thousands of copies, and I've given thousands more away. I didn't know at the time that I had just created a blueprint for any addict to put their story into, to share their story with the world and help addicts suffering. The messages and emails were rolling in of people my book had helped, and then on December 5th, exactly 30 days after publishing, I was at another business conference in San Diego when a man I had never met before walked up to me with a copy of my book and told me, "Bro, your book changed my life. I have 3 weeks clean. Will you sign it for me?" Israel is still clean to this day, and the idea of recovery stories being told publicly and powerfully to reach those suffering was born. Over the next 2 years, I was able to coach multiple people in recovery to write and publish books. The first book published, Mommy Drunkest by Brittany Priestley, became a bestseller as well, and the DA that prosecuted her 4 times in her addiction bought a big box of her books to give out to women he was prosecuting that were in the same type of situation she was in. There is no telling the amount of impact each story from Recovered on Purpose has made. During 2020 and 2021, I personally supported this mission with all the expenses of production, equipment, learning, networking, marketing, etc., because I was doing well with my other business and believe in this cause with everything inside of me. Then I dropped the biggest single investment yet in the creation of the first and only digital course of its kind for addicts, Recovery Speaker, Share Your Story Powerfully, right before the business I was having all that success in collapsed and I lost over $1 million. I took my savings, moved to Colombia where cost of living is 25% or less than the US, and dedicated 2022 to selling, coaching, certifying, and impacting lives with the Recovery Speaker course to build Recovered on Purpose into the successful, world-impacting business I knew it was meant to be. Through 2022, I did hundreds of calls with addicts and alcoholics in recovery about this course and coaching program with the business model I've always been successful at, counting on my ability plus our community's ability to make this company sustainable to keep me in it and this mission full-time. By the end of last year, I was able to bring 18 people into the course and coaching program, and another 40 bought the digital course itself. We had best-selling authors come from it, people who went into professional speaking and coaching full-time, and everyone with a newfound sense of purpose with the knowledge they need to help a significant amount of addicts in their recovery. But at the beginning of starting this, I had made a promise to keep these courses at a price way below average to comparable courses, so our community would have access to this type of personal development not learned in treatment or fellowships, knowing a large percentage of our community does not have access to funds to invest in themselves. So, although we had great success within the course itself, 2022 proved this model will not work to make this mission sustainable and successful with the impact it is meant to make. I began facing the harsh reality that I am going to need to go back into the business world of sales and marketing other products, and services outside the addiction recovery world full-time, and try to do this as much as possible with my spare time. But good news came near the end of last year when we were approved as a 501c3 nonprofit charity, and before I gave up hope, I brought neuroscientist and neurosurgeon Dr. Darlene Lobel onto the board as medical director, and God made a connection in perfect timing with a man who has now partnered with Recovered on Purpose to bring me into the fundraising world for nonprofits and has already secured meetings with 3 of the largest names in the world, whom you will know when they partner with us to fund this mission coming true. The plan for this year is to bring 120 students through the Recovered on Purpose courses while doing a research study on the efficacy the courses have on relapse prevention. No one I have coached has relapsed, and we want to make a real study with a diverse group of clean time to tackle the problem of 85% of addicts relapsing within the first year of leaving long-term treatment. The courses will include training for everything someone coming back from a hard-going addiction would need, from financial training to raise credit and manage money, communications courses for building strong connections with family and friends, health and wellness with exercise and nutrition, the recovery speaker course, the write your book course, and a grow your reach course on how to reach more people with your recovery story. Each of these is designed to add purpose, mission, and passion to the lives of those in recovery, ultimately preventing relapse because their future looks and feels so good to be going towards. In order to do this, we have meetings with private sector donors in February and March, and we'll be doing meetings with government officials in April and May in Washington, D.C. The initial round of funding has already begun, and we were able to raise the initial $4,000 needed for the research team in the first day. We have a goal of $10,000 for the travel expenses needed to have meetings in New York, California, and Pennsylvania for the private sector, and for meetings in Washington, D.C. for the public government sector. Every donation is 100% tax deductible and comes with your name or company logo on the donors and sponsors page being built on the Recovered on Purpose website. Whether you are in addiction and recovery and only have $10 or $20 to give, or you are doing well enough to give $1,000, every dollar counts towards this mission to end addiction together as a recovered community. This mission was never about me or my story getting out. It has always been about you and this community coming together with passion to end addiction with our stories. In order to make this happen, we are counting on your support now. Click the link you want to give at below to support. I love you, and keep living Recovered on Purpose.